Just testing out audio. What's up, everyone? Sorry I was a little absent this weekend, but I had a lot of stuff going on with the kids and just got busy, and it was just a different weird day yesterday with the holiday and all that, so just give me a second here. Just got one more guy I want to check on. So this is a odd slate. It's actually this slate reminds me a lot of last Thursday's slate, where you had the big guys that didn't come through. This slate reminds me a lot of it. I think that was a 4-game slate as well. That's what this is. I just have a feeling we're gonna see one or two blowouts, and I just have a feeling you gotta pick these top players almost exact tonight. I just don't think you're gonna see them all putting up big numbers tonight. So I wanted to look up one more. I wanted to look up Butler again and Davis. I'm kind of eyeing the Minnesota game to me. The Minnesota side to me seems like the plays might be the most consistent. Again, I just want to check this. So 3, 3, 3, 1. Just want to check out these. I want to check out. So I really like Wiggins and I like Teague. I didn't want to really have much more exposure than 2 on a team tonight, but I just want to check out these guys. So Davis is Butler, sorry. 3-1 Butler, 3. Yeah, I'm staying away from Butler. I got similar scenarios where if he was going up against, if he had a great defensive matchup, I think he'd be safe to put up 5 times money tonight, but he doesn't. So I'm fading Butler for sure. I originally had that, but I just wanted to double check. And the other one I wanted to check was just to double check Anthony Davis. Again, my first instinct was to not go with him. I like Cousins. And again, this is these two are just unbelievable to pick. Cousins and Davis. I've not had good luck this year trying to figure out which one to go with. So 3-1-5. 3-1-5. I already know I don't want Davis. So it's Cousins for me as far as the big player. I I like the smaller guys in Minnesota more than I like Towns. So he's out. I do not like Lillard's. I know Lillard killed. He's averaging 50 points against Phoenix. I know he had a great game last time. Um, I just Warren's out for Phoenix. One of their, I think if Warren was full, if Phoenix was full strength, I think you could probably have an argument that maybe they could hang around, but I think you're not going to see Lillard much in the fourth quarter, personally. So I'm just, if this is a tight game, Lillard's probably one of the top plays on the slate. So this is where you kind of got to guess, if you want to play him or not based on that. Lillard's going to get his points against this team. The question is he going to be in there long enough? And I'm going to go with no on this one. So I'm going to start up at the top. I like, so the one team, let me go in order here. So Phoenix, I like Phoenix a little. You got a little more, Monroe and Warren are both out. So you got some usage of minutes that need to be made up there. Dallas, we got Barea out, which is big, so we got some usage of minutes we can make up at the point guard spot and shooting guard spot for Barea. And then New Orleans, Jameer Nelson's not playing. Who else? I guess that's really it. That's not really a big deal. There's no one. I thought someone else was out for them, but no. But this is a high total game, and I don't like. The only one I don't like Davis, and I don't like Holiday. And let me just see what the total is here. And the total is 215. So, I just feel like there's some more usage and minutes some points to be made up there. The only one I can really pin that on at this point now would be Rondo. And I know he's kind of hit or miss, but I think Rondo has a chance at a game tonight. And I don't think a lot of people are going to be on him. I'm going the GPP way tonight, so I am looking for a little bit of variance from what everybody else is going to be on. So and I like that price tag in a game, again, that could get, we don't know that this game's even going to stay close either against Boston. So, all right, so starting off, we got, I like Dallas, Wesley Matthews. I like value play tonight. I think you got to play him. 217 total is Josh Jackson. With Warren out, we already mentioned Warren is out. Hard to avoid Josh Jackson, but he's going to be owned everywhere. Just double check my site. Again, I didn't pay attention to this too the last 2 days, I think. But the site that I made, DFS.network, www.dfs.network. Just keep an eye on it and watch these boxes for any changes tonight. So let me just double check what we have. So we got Tatum is in. He was questionable. Horford is in. So we got nothing different for that game. Denver, Mason Plumlee's in. He was already going to be in. And Josh Jackson. So that's Josh Jackson's really the only value with a player being replaced with Warren. So that's all I got for value. So Josh Jackson. Again, I like Wesley Matthews up here at the top too. He's got a bit of a tough matchup. So that game that scares me a little bit. He's got a tough defensive matchup. So I'm probably going to roster him last if I need someone for that price tag. So don't slide him right in there. But I do like his spot. I always like Dallas for value. Josh Jackson. Then Dwight Powell. So he's kind of a sneaky play on Dallas. He sometimes has some big games. He's averaging 25 points against Denver in a 2-10 game. The tightest game on the slate. Well, tied for the tightest game, 6 points. This game, I think, could be one of the ones that stay close between Dallas and Denver. So I like Powell in this spot, $3,600. Again, I don't think you can have a ton of ownership on him. Tyson Chandler, I'm looking at 5 times money for Phoenix tonight, so 20 to 25 points for Tyson Chandler. Dennis Smith Jr., I like him in this spot against Denver. Again, I think this game could potentially be the highest scoring on the night and stay the closest. To me, I think this is the best matchup game-wise on the slate, or the most competitive game that you're going to see. I think is going to be between Dallas and Denver. Again, that's obviously a gamble when you're just trying to pick that, but this is one of those slates you almost got to try to pick the game you like the best and get the value there. Harrison Barnes, 6,800, so I like him in this spot for Dallas. Another guy I really like, and I know he's risky, but again he's in that game that I like, is Jokic. He's only averaging 38 points against Dallas, but I just Dirk is off of his run. Dirk is no longer a roster every single night guy. I rode him for about, 2 or 3 weeks. The guy was putting up 7 times money most of the nights, and he's just not doing that now. So just Dallas, to me, I think Joker can take advantage of that, the center position against in that matchup tonight, and again in a game that I think is going to be a good matchup. Biyombo for Orlando, 9-point spread against Minnesota. I think Minnesota is going to handle this team. So I'm trying to stay. I like the price range. I like that $6,000. I guess if you're gonna, stay around there. I do like some other guys though, in that spot more than Biyombo, but he's worth a mention. I think he's gonna be decent tonight. I think he should do 5-6 times money. Jeff Teague. So I mentioned him. He's got a great defensive matchup. Probably he does the best on the slate. So I think Teague is a must roster tonight for Minnesota. He's my favorite Minnesota player tonight. Orlando, Alfred Payton. This is another guy. He's only averaging 38 points against Minnesota. He doesn't have the defensive matchup. He's just not as stable to me. I think as far as point guard goes, I think Teague in that same game, Minnesota versus Orlando, I think just Teague is they're both. Teague's $100 cheaper. I just think he's a much safer play than Payton. I guess if you want a second point guard, but there's some value out there, like we mentioned at point guard. So I think Teague is probably the must, and then Payton's probably going to end up getting left out in that game just because of the slate itself. I think he's probably a decent play, but I think you're going to lose some money there, lose some points there by not having somebody else in place of him. So Wiggins, like his spot too. He's got a decent defensive matchup. He's similar to Teague, but doesn't have as good of the defensive matchup. But I like these two guys. I'm fading Towns, and at what 9,800 I think he is, and I'm going to see if I can't. I haven't made my line yet, but I'm going to see if I can't get both Teague and Wiggins in my lineup. In that game, that's 217 total games, so that's the highest total, and 113 is the highest implied total for Minnesota. So I think it's worth having two guys from Minnesota in that lineup, even if they go out, at $12,000 for both of them. Even if they both play 3 quarters, I think you're going to still see that you reach your value. Wiggins actually scored a few more points against Orlando than Teague has. So moving down, you got Ulis for Phoenix. I think he's a 5 times money guy. He should hit 20 points tonight. Yogi Ferrell. So with Barea being out, Yogi's going to get his normal minutes plus some. He's actually the highest predicted increase in minutes from his normal role tonight. More so than Jackson. It's kind of weird, but he does not have a great defensive matchup. But he's cheap, 4,500. It's hard to ignore him. Cash games, you have to absolutely play him. I think everyone's going to be on him, just like Jackson. Those two are going to be in everybody's lines. If you want to try to get a little different on a GPP, I have a different. I'm personally going to probably still roll out Yogi because I think it may hurt you to try to get too cute with that. If the guy ends up putting up 30 points, 35 points, hitting 7-8 times money, and you try to get cute, that's probably going to put you out of the GPP. So I'm probably going to still roll with him, even though he's more of the cash play, just to keep up with everybody. But if he flops, that could be a huge advantage for you. And again, he does have a bad match. He has a bad defensive matchup. So, I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to. I'm probably gonna consider maybe leaving him out, only because I like some of these other guys. Is if I like Smith and Barnes and Powell, there's just not a ton more. And Matthews. I mean, I like Matthews, Smith, Barnes, and Powell, and Yogi. So if Yogi has a bad matchup and those other guys get that usage, and everybody else is on Farrell, that might be a nice spot on a GPP. Cash, you got to have him in there, absolutely. So Rondo, I think, is going to be someone that's not owned, so that could be potentially a nice swap there. In a GPP, swap out Farrell for Rondo, and hope that Rondo can have one of those crazy triple doubles that he's capable of doing. I mean, Rondo could do it. I know he's going up against Boston, but that's still going to be a high scoring game. So if that game stays close, he could easily have a great game there. So we mentioned Towns. He's probably my second best choice besides Cousins as my big guy tonight, but I'm gonna fade him. He's got a good matchup. I'm just gonna leave it alone. So I mentioned one more guy is Mason Plumlee for Denver. What is he? I'm sorry, Jokic's at power forward, not center. So that doesn't give me as good of a matchup. I guess they're both. I'm gonna still roll out with Jokic even though he's not at center. It's fine, close enough. So I do like Plumlee because he is at center. He's only 4,300. So here's another spot. GPP wise, I think if I'm going again cash, I'm still sticking with Yogi Ferrell. But if it's that extra spot on DK, and you can switch a Ferrell with a Plumlee and a GPP, I think you got a little bit of an edge there to catch people if Yogi has a bad game. Because Plumlee should have a decent game, I think, tonight in that spot. So my one guy that I am rolling out as my sleeper GPP play, I think a lot of people are going to be on Baines tonight for the Celtics. He's got a great matchup, but I like Tice, so I'm gonna swap out and I would normally like Baines, but I'm gonna go with Tice in my GPPs tonight. I think that he's the guy tonight that could have that 25-30 point game. He's 3,800, so you could see him hit 7-8 times money tonight. So that's kind of my sleeper tonight for my GPP. And that's it. That's all I got for tonight. Good luck, everybody, and I will see everyone tomorrow.